Please give a round of applause for the Bayo de Vega. Well, hello, ladies. How are you? You having fun? You look great. Isn't it funny how we all just like show up, put our best foot forward? We look good, we feel good, but do we? I want to share a few stories about how quick we are to judge and just some of the things that I've learned along the way. So almost 7 years exactly, I found myself at a Cafe Rio. You can smell the delicious Costa Vida, right, that we're getting ready to eat. But 7 years ago, I'm standing in line at Cafe Rio. I'm pretty big and pregnant, and I'm holding a baby, and I'm having a conversation with the people in front of me. And they were very nice, a nice elderly couple, over 50, well over 50. And as I'm standing there and we're having this conversation, they're like, wow, you really have your hands full. I was like, yeah, but I want a burrito. And so, holding the baby, big belly. And they said, well, where's your husband? And I said, that's a really great question. I'm single. Do you know any nice single men? And their eyes got about this big. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Because here I am pregnant holding a baby. And I said, it's okay. Neither of them are mine. Then their eyes got really big. I said, this is my surrogate baby, and this is my foster baby. So at the time, I was being a surrogate for a family who couldn't have kids, and I had a foster baby that I had gotten through Utah foster care. Thank you. And I didn't get to adopt him until he was a year old, but it was quite funny because sometimes just the things that we assume, people just automatically assumed, I must be married, I must have this. And then when I told them I was single, they assumed I'm probably a promiscuous person or something. And I just think it's funny sometimes how we look at somebody, we look at a situation, we judge that situation, we think we know based off of our perceptions who or what they're dealing with or what they're going through. I had another situation where, I'm in front of a lot of beautiful, amazing women like you, and sometimes we like to compare ourselves. And I showed up feeling like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. And I thought this girl didn't like me. We had worked together a little bit, and, just the lies we tell ourselves. She doesn't like me. I'm not good enough. She's too advanced for me. And I was feeling insecure about it. And then I looked on LinkedIn. I got tagged on something. And this lady tagged me and said, oh my gosh, do you guys know Brandy Vega? She's doing this and this and this. And she was singing my praises. And I was just floored because I thought she didn't like me. This was a big paradigm shift that I had last year because we get stuck in our own minds and we assume things that aren't true. And so I've decided, and I would like you guys to decide right now to make the decision that everybody loves you. Everyone loves you. Why wouldn't they love you? You're amazing. You're smart. You're talented. You're gifted. You're a gift from God. So just assume, no matter how you feel, that people just love you. And give them the benefit of the doubt when you feel that way. I'm going to get into my story in just a moment, but I wanted to start with that because I think sometimes it's easy to get up here and go, wow, Maylee's amazing. Alinda's done this. Denisha's done that. Like, I'm just started. I'm in the hole $500. I haven't made that or whatever it is. And I just want you guys to know that you're amazing. And I want to tell you that I love you. I don't know all of you, but if we can hate for any reason, we can love for any reason. I think you're beautiful. I love you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for bringing your best self and believing in you. So a few years ago, I show up for a production. This is my studio. Welcome to Vega Media. I'm happy to have you. I've been doing production for 30 years, and I started in the Army. You might not know that. I served in the United States military as a broadcast journalist, public affairs specialist, went all over the world, interviewed the president, was reporting for Fox News at 20. Pretty cool stuff. It's been a fun career. I built this place about 8.5 years ago. But I showed up for a production. I do a lot of freelance, and I get to this place, and we're getting there. This guy shows up a little bit late, kind of frazzled, and he's rude. I don't think boys are dumb. Where are you? I don't think they're dumb. I love them. I love boys. Anyway, but this one was pressing his luck. Like, he might have been that day. So he shows up, and he's just not being very nice. He's kind of rude, and he's being snarky, and I'm the senior leader in this position, right? I mean, we're all working together, but it's like, I've been here for 15 years. You just showed up a month ago, and I'm getting really angry. Just the way he's acting, the way he's talking to people. He was being short and snappy, and I'm like, who do you think you are? And I went over to an area to think, which is where most media people do their best thinking. It's called craft services, the craft table. That's where all the food and snacks are. It's where I do my best work. And I went over to craft services, and I'm talking to a few people, and I'm getting really worked up. And I feel my energy just going. And I'm like, I'm going to go tell this guy off. I don't know who he thinks he is, showing up here, being a jerk. I'm, building myself up. And I'm walking over. I'm like, yep, he's getting it. He's getting a piece of my mind. And I'm walking over. And just as I got to him, this feeling rushed over me. And it was like, don't do it. And I looked at him, and I got almost into his face. And I was about to say, Mike, what's your problem? And instead I said, Mike, are you okay? And his eyes teared up. And he said, actually, no, I'm not. Today's the anniversary of my wife's death. And my kids were having such a hard morning. And he started to cry. And I just grabbed him, and I gave him a big hug. And I just thought, I'm so glad I chose kindness in this moment. I'm glad that I felt inspired, thank you very much, to give grace and to lead with love. And it really changed my perspective. I spent 7 years at IHC doing spiritual care, and nobody dies alone. I've sat with a lot of patients who had to shut off life support and then go try to function. When my daughter tried to kill herself, she was 12 years old. I just had that baby. I'd adopted the other baby, and I just built this studio. And my 12-year-old tried to end her life. I was single at the time, and the shame and the fear and the stigma, all of that. I must be such a horrible person. I must be the worst mother on the planet. My own child would rather be dead than be with me. The lies we tell ourselves. I had been working on the biggest deal of my life, you guys. I had an offer in on a new studio, several $1 million. I'd been doing it for 8 months. I had to show up for a meeting while my daughter was in the hospital. I don't know who showed up here today, and I don't know what you are going through, but I know you're all going through something. Health, family, finances, spiritual, whatever it is you're going through, I just want to applaud you for being here. Because as moms, as entrepreneurs, as women, we show up even when we don't want to show up. We show up even when it hurts to show up. And where I met Maylee and Denisha was an event where they asked me to speak for a few minutes, and I got up and I shared the story about my daughter. And a lady came up to me after the break, and she said, I lost my nephew last night. And I debated whether or not I should be here today, and I know I needed to be here. So you guys are here right now finding inspiration and purpose and passion. And I just think it's really important that while you're doing that, don't neglect this. Don't neglect your mental health. Don't neglect your worth and your value. And if you're struggling, please reach out. So the second time my daughter tried to end her life, she was 14. Thankfully, her friend had the courage to call 911. Police woke me up in the middle of the night. We got her to primary children's in time. They had so many suicides from little kids, they didn't have any beds. And I was crying in the room with the doctors saying, what is going on? And they started to cry, and they said, we don't know what's going on. We're seeing like the biggest spike ever. We've had 12 suicide attempts today in one hospital. I was beside myself. I didn't know for 2 days if my child was going to live or die. And I went in my car, and I spent my whole life doing media, reporter. I was a news reporter. I did Good Things Utah. I've done a lot of fun things in my career. I've been a host. And I did the most vulnerable video of my life, sitting in my car at Primary Children's. I got on my personal Facebook, and I said, I need help. I don't know if my baby's going to live. And if she does, where do I go? What do I do? And I know some of you have been through it. And you guys know Lark Galley. She invited me to speak. She lost her son the very first time my daughter attempted suicide. The second time it happened and I reached out, she didn't know the first time because I didn't tell anybody. I carried it as a deep, dark secret. And the second time, when I spoke publicly, Lark sent me a book. She sent me her book, Learning to Breathe, that she had written after losing her father and son to suicide. But my friends, that video went viral. 12,000 views overnight on my personal Facebook page. Like, that's pretty powerful. Hundreds of messages from people like you, people who look like they have it all put together, like there's nothing wrong in their life. And I saw that their pain and everything. And my friends at NBC called me and said, hey, we saw your story. We saw your video on the news. Will you share your story? I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now, you vulture. That's what it felt like. You want me to share my deepest pain in my darkest moment? And I said, no, absolutely not. And I was that person. Many years of working in TV, if it bleeds, it leads. That was me. Seeing people on their worst days, their hardest trials, their biggest challenges, mostly 9 out of 10 of the stories. The other ones was like, you won the lottery, congratulations. One extreme to the next. But they asked me to share. I said, no way. And, but I begged God for a miracle. And I said, if you save her, I'll do absolutely anything you want me to do, anything. I got inspiration that said, okay, I'll give you a second chance. There will not be a third. What will you do? I'm like, God, if you save her, anything. Within an hour, she woke up and she was functional. It'd been 2 days. Thank you. And so, long story short, I built this foundation called Promise to Live. And I want to explain what this is to you guys. Every 40 seconds, we lose somebody to suicide. That's 726,000 people a year. Those are real numbers. And behind every single one of those numbers is a real name. Behind every single one of those facts is a face and a family. And behind every statistic is a story. A story of somebody that was silenced way too soon. A story that needed to be heard. We're asking everyone everywhere to make the promise to live. What is that? It's a promise to reach out. For all of us, right now. Every time we go get in our car, what's the first thing we do? What do we do when we get in our car? We buckle up. Why do we buckle up? Do you plan on crashing every day? I know we live in Utah. The odds are pretty good, but do you plan on it? No, we buckle up because in case we get in a crash, our odds of survival just went way up. We want you to make a promise to live right now, which is a promise to reach out for help if or when you find yourself in that dark place. You can reach out to a family member, a trusted resource, call or text 988. There's great resources. Did you know by making that simple promise, your odds of survival go up almost 60%? So I'm going to ask you guys to do something with me together in solidarity right now. Can I get you guys just to, if you feel comfortable, to raise your hand and make a promise with me right now? Can you say, I promise? Okay. Stand by. And I know this is hard, okay? This is not a promise. This is a promise to reach out. So here's what I would like you guys to do. Please raise your hand with me right now in solidarity as a strong woman and say, I promise. If I ever find myself struggling, I will reach out to a friend, family, or 988. Do you promise? Okay, thank you so much. And I looked each one of you in the eye, and I'm counting on you to keep that promise because you know what? We need you. The world needs you. Your family needs you. So we ask people to make the promise to live. Here's our QR code. I think this one takes you to the website. Please scan it. Go online and make the promise. My mission, my whole life's purpose now is to get you to commit to reaching out for help. That's step one. We connect you to resources. On our site, we have a tab that says Get Help. There's so many resources available. get help. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And if you or your children or your husband or your family members are struggling, please do so. And we build a community. We've got some incredible things going on. We do a global live stream in Hollywood. We reach 3 million people. We have celebrities. We have a gala coming up, our first ever gala, May 31st. I'd love to invite you guys to come. And here's the key. For you, or if it's somebody else you love, the key is ask. A-S-K. If you think somebody's struggling and you say, well, I don't know, I'm not a leader. I haven't been taught in this. I'm not a psychologist. Neither was I when I finally agreed to go on TV 2 weeks after my daughter woke up. And they asked me, what would you say? And I said, if you're watching right now, and I'm challenging every single one of you, if you are listening right now, when you get home, reach out to the people you love and ask them point blank, hey, are you feeling suicidal? Are you struggling? Honest questions get honest answers. You won't plant that. So just know, I shared that on the news. I said, stop what you're doing, go check on your loved one. Right after it aired, a father reached out to me. He said, you just saved my daughter's life. And I said, what do you mean? I saw your story. I went to check on her. She had written her suicide note. She was in the process of trying to end her life. We were at the hospital. Thank you. And another family member messaged me the next morning and said, we had a conversation after we saw your story with our 15-year-old. He confessed he was going to end his life. We're getting him help. Thank you. So I would encourage every single one of you, whether you think they're safe or not, to reach out to the person you love, spouse, coworker, sister, kids, and just ask them. So we teach ask. The first step is to acknowledge. A-S-K. Acknowledge. Hey, Denisha, I know things have been really hard on you. I'm teaching them how to ask, right? I know putting on an incredible event like this can be very stressful and hard. Are you doing okay? Hey, I noticed your spouse passed away. I noticed you lost your job. How are you holding up? Are you doing okay? Ask. Acknowledge. Acknowledge you see something and you're checking on them. S, support. Wow, I'm sorry. That must hurt to lose a job. It must hurt to go through a divorce. It must hurt to see your children struggle. K, keep in touch. Would you want to come over for dinner tonight? Do you want to go grab lunch tomorrow? Can I call you? If somebody you love is struggling, ask. Acknowledge, support, keep in touch. That's something all of us can do. Make a promise to live. Make a promise to reach out. Thank you very much. I have a gift for all of you. Okay? I want to be respectful of my time because I know we're all hungry. But when this happened, somebody sent me a card about 1.5 years ago. She sent me a letter and a little note. It was one of my husband's friends. I met her one time. By the way, I got married 5 years ago. I gained 240 pounds during the pandemic. He's great. He's awesome, and I love him. But this girl sent me a note, and it was one of his childhood friends, and it said, Brandy, I see all the work you're doing. You're getting up. You're doing all this great stuff. Is anyone checking in on you? And I was like, no. How are you doing? I'm here if you need a friend. And she sent me this generic coin, and it said pocket hug on it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. And I was like, pocket hug, and it said, when times are tough, you don't know what to do, here's a hug from me to you. I thought that was the sweetest thing. Somebody actually thought of me. I took it, I put it in my pocket, my coat, wore it around for 4 or 5 weeks. I get asked to speak at a funeral. It's my friend's second child she lost. First one to suicide, the second one to addiction. I spoke at her daughter's funeral. They asked me to speak at her son's funeral. I'm standing there, and it's overwhelming. And I'm holding on to the coin that my friend sent me for courage. And I reached in my pocket, and I said, Kathy, I think you need this coin more than me. Just know that I love you. Keep this with you. She kept it. A week later, she messaged me. She said, Brandy, that coin got me through the hardest week of my life. Every time I touched it, I knew I mattered. I knew you cared. I felt like you were there with me. And I thought, wow, it did that for me too. Since then, we're talking numbers. Sometimes our ROI isn't in dollars and cents. It's in lives saved, people that know that they're loved and that they matter. I created the Promise to Live pocket hug. It's got our website. It says on the back, when times are tough and you don't know what to do, here's a hug from me to you. Call or text 988 if you're struggling. We have given out 70,000 of these in the last year, and I have one for each and every one of you guys to go along with your promise to live. When people make a promise to live with us, we want you to make the promise to live. You get a coin to keep, a coin to give. So I have those gifts for you. They're wrapped up. Please make sure you get one from me. And then finally, as a token, another token of our appreciation here, I would like to offer anyone who's here, if you guys are looking for any media production services, my studio, Mi Studio, Sue Studio, I don't know, Mi Casa, Su Casa. I will give anybody from this event 40% off any services, podcasts, social media videos, headshots. We do commercials, training, education if you're looking for online courses. I've got a studio in that room, a studio in that room, a studio over here. So if you guys want a tour, I have to head out shortly, but I'm happy to give you a tour. And because Maylee and Denisha are so amazing, and you guys are too, just know that I'm here to support you, and I'm here to help you in all your needs along the way, whether it be your mental health or your video production. Thank you.
Oh, good thing it's lunch after that, because we gotta vibe up, right? Like, oh my gosh, so amazing. And now you know, obviously, why I had to be here, right? Like, this was absolutely meant to be. And I don't know who needed to hear something from Brandy today, but I know that all of us was able to take something very magical home. So thank you. Seriously. A hug to me, to you too. So amazing. Yeah.